welcome into another episode of the Clapp Trap. We are back, and we have a great guest. It's been a little while. He is the only real Yankees Giants fan that I actually like to talk to. So I'm happy to bring him on to talk about some interesting stuff. Yeah, hide that emblem for everybody out there, the Red Sox fan and everything. We got Big Tone here back on the show. Some new stuff, some exciting stuff to talk with you about. The new year has happened. New Big Tone stuff. We got a new podcast that is out now, the Big Guys podcast. So I wanted to bring you on to talk about that. We got some other stuff to talk about with some of your teams. My teams kind of suck right now, but I mean, some of them are okay. But how are you doing? And how are things going this new year? The new podcast. I'm excited for you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I appreciate having me on. It's always fun. Bruins are doing pretty good though, right? Aren't they clicking on all cylinders? Yeah. So you got that going for you. Yeah, a lot of new stuff coming up. We started the Big Guys podcast. Me and my buddy Ryan at Han YOLO. We just talking sports and talking regular, just day-to-day stuff. Couple of little joking segments in there where we're just kind of picking fun on ourselves and whatnot. But Giants football, March Madness right around the corner. We got a lot going on, so I'm excited. I appreciate you having me on. How's everything been with you? You good?
Good. Glad that it's 2023. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about my Celtics or my Bruins. Obviously, they're dominating. If you're watching on YouTube, I even got the home record behind me there. They're absolutely crushing it at home. So happy about that. I was more, I guess, referring to my Patriots who sucked and weren't able to make the playoffs. Also, the Red Sox, we'll get into that a little bit. You know, signings, not signings, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But things are going good.
You need a new O coordinator over there in New England. That was a tough get from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, hey, all self-inflicted by Bill, if you ask me. So things should be turning around. But yeah, I'm happy to say that you're. Happy is not necessarily the term. The Giants, they are kind of an arch rival of ours in some fashions. Obviously, beating us twice in the Super Bowl and everything like that. But you're able to have that amazing wild card win for you. And I'm sure you're riding high off of that. The NFC is a little interesting right now. How far do we think your Giants can go at this point?
Listen, the NFC beast is back. I mean, Philly, Cowboys, Giants, 7-win Commanders team. I mean, it's a division that is a lot of fun right now. But listen, man, Danny Dimes, I've been saying it to anybody who will listen since August. This kid is not the problem. He's just not. No. Did I think he was going to go ballistic like this? No. But did I think there was something there? Sure. Am I a good talent evaluator? Yeah, I think I am because I fucking banked that. So I realistically, this is going to be a brutal game, right? Like, I think it's going to be different than the last two games, right? The first game, they smoked us. It was kind of like, all right, let's pack it in. We'll see them again. Then we see them the next week. Our second string plays really good against their starters for the most part. No hurts, obviously. But I think we're going to know very early on what type of Jalen Hurts we have. How hurt is he really? It's a throwing shoulder, bro. He plays quarterback. I mean, so it's important. I think if we get past, I think this is going to be a tough game here, but feels like a team of destiny, baby. I feel really good about this team right now. It's something to be said about teams who click, camaraderie, it's corny, but they're just rallying around each other, it seems. And it's fun to watch.
Hey, man, just like I was saying, you guys beat us twice in the Super Bowl just by basically getting hot at the end of the year at the right time, clicking and being able to dominate the defensive line, at least in one of those there. So, I mean, hey, with, Tom Brady out of your way, the rest of the division, none of the quarterbacks are old at this point, right? You got Hurts there. You don't know how he's going to do. And then from then on out, it's when is the Cowboys going to crap themselves and can Brock Purdy actually be legitimate? So who knows?
So that's the big question, right? With Purdy, like, I mean, if you just kind of take some inventory of the weekend, Daniel Jones was the best quarterback from start to finish. Like, wasn't close. I mean, a lot of guys had their moments, right? Purdy played unbelievable in the second half, got his numbers. But listen, that San Francisco offense are 8-yard slants and you snap them off. I mean, I'm not knocking the guy, but that's what it is. Yeah, and he looked like absolute like he was blind in the first half. You're just not going to be able to get away with that against this Dallas team who takes the ball away.
Oh, yeah.
My buddy Ryan, he's a diehard 49ers fan, but I think the Cowboys get on him. I didn't like the Cowboys last week. I mean, I liked Tampa Bay for numerous reasons, but they got me. I think they walk in there and Brock Purdy's looked good, but I think Brock Purdy's gonna feel a little Micah Parsons heat this week, and I think that's a different animal than anything Seattle can offer.
Oh yeah, and I'm interested to see what is going to happen for the Niners when they go into next year with Brock Purdy, and the way that if he wins another playoff game, he's got to be in the conversation for a possible starter next year for them, right?
He's in the conversation right now, I think, right? Because if you think about it, it's like, they said that Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, kind of got overruled. They got Trey Lance. It's abundantly clear you can kind of pop anyone in that spot. This guy's a wizard over there, man. He knows what he's doing. But it's not like this kid's not good. I'm not saying that. He's showing up. Just that first half, he was missing guys by yards, just overthrowing them short. And it gives you pause. That's all. It's like, what was that?
Yeah.
I think you got to give him a legitimate chance to be a starter next year.
Yeah, I think so too. But some of those throws, I don't know. He was throwing into double coverage and just getting lucky at points. So
crazy.
I don't know.
He was lucky. A couple of them didn't. Some things didn't work out worse for them. They got to score touchdowns too. Settling for too many field goals there, I thought, early on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, but it was a great weekend of football. Obviously, some interesting ones that were close. And then the Giants game, that was a great game as well. You had that. I mentioned that the Tampa Bay team is out now. What'd you think of that Brady slide tackle attempt, by the way? Did you see that whole thing?
Yeah. What are we up to? Like, just he's got to just hang him up. I can't take him seriously when he gets those press conferences. When he says he looks like a fish.
Hey, he got him that IG model girlfriend of his now, or supposedly new girlfriend, right?
Yeah, let's be honest. The $1 billion he has would have got him that too. But I don't know. I'm just not like, it's over. He's the best to ever do it. He's probably so competitive. He's coming back. He's not. I think he's coming back. He's not going to come back after this. But the problem is he's a baby right now, and he gets hit, and it's getting less and less. He can't take as many hits, is all I'm trying to say. And I think he gets more frustrated, and it comes through more to the guys. And they just look like a miserable team this year. I tricked myself into thinking, okay, it's Tom Brady, Vita Vea. We're going to get playoff Lenny back in the mix. They threw the ball great a couple weeks ago. They're clicking too. Nope, same old Bucks all year. Just trash. Can't stop anything. Just offense is putrid. I saw his slide tackle, but it's over, bud. It's over.
I'm ready as hey, he is my quarterback. He left my team. He went down there. He won a Super Bowl. That whole situation sucks for me personally. But yes, I even want him to be done at this point. Just please go away at this point. I don't want to see you go somewhere like the Raiders and all of a sudden the Raiders are great and you're going and vying for another championship or something ridiculous. So
I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. I don't think the Raiders are going to be great for a while. But
that defense,
I will say this. It makes you wonder with all the DeMar Hamlin stuff. And then last week, his guy got, he threw that ball into a no man's land, and he got hit pretty awkwardly and slipped. Excuse me. It makes you wonder, that shit's got to go through your mind, right? It has to creep in. There's been, because I think, at least for me, when I saw that hit, I was like, "Holy shit, let's not do this again," But it was, you're getting older. I would think about that stuff, but maybe not. He's a robot.
The only thing I can say is he's got nothing else in his way from continuing to play. Right. The only thing was that pesky wife of his, and he got rid of that.
Yeah.
So now.
Yeah. You believe her? Hey, come be a dad. Your kid's 29 now.
What's up with that?
You're right. Zero. How can he play? He just gave up his whole entire life. He's got to play. He wants to play at least 55 now, I bet.
He's definitely in an interesting spot there. It'll be crazy to see where he goes. But, I'm just excited to see how the NFC shakes up for the playoffs. I'm excited to see how the rest of that goes. As much as it sucks that my team isn't in it, it's going to be an exciting year, and it's going to be probably somebody new or something interesting going on towards the end there. and I'm excited for it. But I got to ask, just to kind of switch topics here from going with the NFL specifically, but there is another team of yours. You got them on your hat right now. They've been making some interesting moves in the offseason, including a huge signing, obviously, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But do you feel more confident right now in the Giants and their road, or the Yankees to compete for a title this year?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I mean, right now the Giants are in front of my face, so I feel pretty good about them. I will say the Yankees. Um, I think we improved a lot, and I think we're an absolute wagon next year. And if we don't win next year, it has very, very big 2009 vibes to me, where we're like, okay, let's just go open up the checkbook.
Right.
Got some guys who are here. We got to clean up the middle of the ball field. I mean, second and short, we got to figure some things out. But there's when the Yankees are playing the Houston Astros, there's something in the pit of my stomach that says, Jesus, this is happening again? I don't have that feeling with the New York Football Giants right now. I have the opposite feeling. I will say this, the whole entire country is betting the Giants. The line is 7.5, which just screams Eagles to me. So it does scare me. But
yeah,
I'm more confident in the New York Football Giants right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like you said, they're right in front of your face. They only got a couple more games to go before possible glory. And it does feel like one of those teams that, once again, if you can get past the Eagles, anything could happen at that point. So that'll be interesting.
True.
But your Yankees are loading up. They're not going to have any speed bump in the division from us over here in New England. The Red Sox are going to suck. I was just going to say,
good. Yeah, I was going to say, good chance you guys win 63 games this year. That should be fun.
Yeah, bet the under. It's ridiculous at this point. I mean, the amount that they lost from Bogarts to Evaldi to JD Martinez, whatever. Some of those players you kind of knew were going to go. Some of them you're like, what the hell are you guys doing, letting them go?
At least you signed Devers, though.
Devers was signed, but that was
seriously, that had to happen.
Oh, it had to happen.
That had to happen.
That's the only thing is I then see people trying to go out there and be like, see, the Red Sox did what they were supposed to do, the offseason, that's a good move and everything. No, you got backed into a corner, gave him market value because you had no other choice. That was it. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's very frustrating. And now the players that they're bringing in, you're giving me like Adam Duvall, who had that broken wrist last year. I mean, I guess he can be a good defensive outfielder, but does he have anything left?
They're you know what they are? They're nice little players on a team that, like, if you have other pieces, there's nothing wrong with Adam Duvall. He's just not going to change your squad. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, give me. They signed Tapia too, I believe, who's best known in my mind for that inside the park home run that Jaron Duran just lost complete sight of the ball and let him run around for an hour. So like that's so we're getting players like that in. I have no hopes for it. Yoshida or whatever. I don't know how he's going to be. Whatever. So the Red Sox kind of suck. I'm expecting that this year. But you had a nice signing. You got your guy. So I got to ask about the emotional roller coaster that was the Aaron Judge experience going for the contract there. I saw you putting out some messages, some videos talking about how people weren't thinking it was going to happen, all that kind of stuff. You're obviously relieved at this point. You're feeling good about it?
Absolutely. For the people who are like, oh, it's too much money. It's like, shut up. What do you care? Like, I'm not paying for him. You know, I am paying for him, but I'm not paying for him, you know?
Right.
You just don't want to lose your guy. And for whatever the prices are, he's a top 5 guy on both sides of the ball. He's just an unbelievable outfielder. He's Aaron Judge. He's paid for his contract already. It's happened. New York got everything they're supposed to get out of him. As far as the roller coaster goes, my mother was buying my nephew a jersey for his birthday, and I was like, don't buy him 99 because he might be in San Francisco. Like, I don't know. Tough. So she's like, nah, it's still his favorite player, so he gets the thing. I was like, listen, buddy, I'm just going to tell you, this guy might not be here, you know? So even me, part of it was, I didn't know, I thought he was a lot more pissed off at the Yankees than he was letting on, from the arbitration stuff to just kind of just dinkering around with stuff we shouldn't have been dinkering around with, you know? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I tip my hat to Steinbrenner, and he, from what they say, he got on the phone and just he made a deal and just made him feel wanted to come here. And I don't think he was ever leaving, but a big piece of me thought he was leaving. If that makes any sense. I think Rizzo getting re-signed is the only reason we got him to come back. I think that was a huge, huge piece to getting Aaron Judge back because they're thick as thieves from what you read.
Yeah. Now,
yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster, but we got our guy. We needed him. That lineup looks so putrid without him in it. You're making all these different combos. You're like, well, maybe he can hit too. It's just like you got nothing. But the lineup changes significantly. Infield, outfield. Going to have a full year of Bader. So I'm curious to see what happens with this team. I mean, we're primed. I mean, we got pitching now, and it's just I love that Tommy Kahnle's back, but I just think the Houston Astros. I'll say it until we get by them. The Houston Astros.
They are. We'll
see. They're going to be a lot different looking team this year too, though.
Yeah, no, that should be another part of the equation. But they are your boogeyman as of right now. So you'll see if you can get over them. But did you know any fans, any Yankees fans who were kind of against the Aaron Judge thing? Did they? Or I mean, I know there was that whole story about him getting booed at the end of the season and everything like that. Were there fans that were saying no to that, or
no? Anybody like Red Sox fans, most Yankee fans are pretty intelligent with baseball and whatnot. You watch it, it's anybody with two eyeballs doesn't want him to go anywhere. But at the same time, we're rough people at times, and we're like, fuck me, I just want to be here. We don't want him here. He's kind of a bum, you go into that whole spiel. But that's mostly like 65 to 70-year-old Italian guys like at the deli. Like that's basically when he's a bum. He didn't do shit last year. He could have hit 70. Like you hear that kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, no, anybody with a brain wanted this guy because it does more than just hurt your team. It takes the wind out of the sails of everything. I mean, they put a Judge's corner. Like the team that doesn't put your name on the back, they built this guy a Judge's corner. Like, it was a lot invested in him. All my buddies, nobody wanted him to go anywhere. As a matter of fact, we were texting like people had top secret information. I was like, yeah, I just read the same tweet, bro. It's crazy. Like it was the wild
inside
wild
sources. Yeah. No, that inside sources. Everybody's got inside sources. Exactly. Right. No, it's I'm sure that was the case. You said it. I mean, fans just get frustrated, especially when they know the sport and they see what's going on and you can see what's happening in front of you. So I get it there, but I'm sure that nobody really wanted him out of there. One of the best players in baseball.
Yeah. Did you think he was gone?
I personally thought he was gone because, like you said, all reports were about how angry he was with the team and how he wasn't this, that, and the other, whether it's contract disputes. And then you got the stories of, people booing him and everybody's being like, how could you go back and play for that fan base? Which I think that's a little ridiculous. They're going to boo everybody. The Yankees are known for booing everybody under the sun if they feel like they're not doing good enough. Same with Red Sox fans. It's a similar thing. So
I think we all can agree just to boo Mattress Mac.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
That guy, he's just I love him. I love how that guy just walks around. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm betting 10 million on this game. Like
he's a wild card. Whenever I see him pop up on Twitter or something about how he went and made another ridiculous bet, I'm always interested. But it's like, all right, dude. Yeah, go for it, I guess.
He gives me big time like mean old man vibes. I don't know if that's true. I've never met him, obviously, but he's just got that look like get off my lawn kind of thing,
Yeah, no, he's definitely got that vibe, for sure. But he's that's going to be something. We'll see how the MLB season goes. But once again, I'm trying to switch gears again here as This next question might bring up some fresh feelings. I'm hoping that it doesn't. I know that you're a Michigan fan. I don't want to, if it's too soon or anything like that, I don't mean any offense or anything, but I was thinking about it, and obviously you got March Madness coming up. We talked about that before, but what I got to ask, like as a college guy, because I'm somebody who's trying to get more into the college sports game and be more involved in all that kind of stuff. Do you feel as though the college playoffs for football is better, or would you prefer the basketball March Madness? Do you have one that you like? I know it's hard to do. They're both great.
Ooh, that is a tough one. But excuse me. I think so. I'm very excited to see what the new college football playoff looks like. Mm-hmm. More football is more better. Yep. Is always kind of like the philosophy for me. Yep. Love college football. The bands, the atmosphere, the history, all that stuff that plays into it. So I think that's going to be, obviously must-watch TV for me. But at the end of the day, there are still only 5, 6 teams. Maybe the
True.
NIL is going to change some of this, but as of right now, it doesn't feel like it. Okay.
Right. Right.
TCU was a really, really good team. It wasn't even close. I mean, not
Yeah.
even a little bit. I know that's not fair necessarily to do to them, but I think Ohio State probably does the same thing to them, honestly. So for me, March Madness is, I would say it's better than the college football playoff because of the parity. I think there's more upsets, you get more shockers, and I just don't see that happening in the college football playoff.
Right.
You might get it to where like a Utah beats an Alabama or something when they start to do this thing, but you're not going to have these St. Peter's type of runs. You just won't. You
Right.
won't have stuff like that, and that to me is why March Madness is awesome. But it's also a different sport. Basketball's a sport where you can have one guy in the court and he changes everything.
That's true.
Especially I love college hoops so much more than the NBA, but college is there's always that one player that sticks out, and
Oh yeah.
makes his run to the NBA. So for me, it's March Madness. What about you? That's a tough question. What do you like better?
No, I mean, I've always enjoyed the March Madness more as a casual, as a guy who's not
Sure.
following as much. Obviously, the college football is becoming more interesting now as they're going to add more teams. There's going to be more involved in that. But yeah, I mean, you can be anybody and just walk into the college basketball. I mean, the March Madness tournament, fill out a bracket and have some fun with it. So
Yeah.
that's always, as a casual fan, that's always been my thing there. But yeah, you don't know now with the new playoff, more parity, things like that with the NCAA football. I mean, you got Dion
Yeah.
going to Colorado, right? Dion might bring in some
Yeah,
new
he
recruits over
signed
there.
guys left and right. And just yesterday, oh my God, his name just slipped my mind. But Florida just lost the commit that they couldn't get an NIL deal done with.
So
It
there
was
you
on.
go.
It was contingent on him signing for $13 million. Now he's going to Miami, I guess.
Oh,
So
geez. So there you
you're
go.
going to
Maybe
start
more
seeing stuff
parity.
like that. And
Yeah.
the
No.
transfer portal. The transfer portal it's chaos. Like, I
Right.
mean, so I think college football is about to get a lot better. I think college sports in general is about to get a lot better because kids are going to stay longer because they're going to get paid. They just
Yeah.
are. And those fringe players, there's no Blake Corum, perfect example. You asked about Michigan before. Too soon. It is, but Blake Corum is perfect example. His stock can't be any higher. And he's like, nah, I'm just coming back because he's getting
Right.
paid. And he'll probably be a fourth round, third round pick in the NFL. As crazy as that sounds, but Harbaugh's coming back, and got to win the big one. Got to win the
Yeah.
big one. But for
Yeah.
me,
Well,
March Madness is going to be in Albany this year, and I'm going to be there. So
yeah.
I'm
There you
excited for
go.
that.
Yeah, I can't wait
Yeah.
for March Madness, but you actually just mentioned the next thing I want to talk about. You got Jim Harbaugh coming back to Michigan. Were you
Yeah.
worried at all with, I mean, that was another one that's a little bit of an emotional roller coaster for you there. It seemed like there was a lot of people saying he was going to leave, go to the NFL. Were you surprised? Were you worried at all that he was going to leave Michigan?
I'm worried. I thought he was gone for sure. I legitimately thought for him to say, Matt, I thought somebody already called him. I thought he already had a job kind of thing lined up.
Right.
Come to find out, he just wanted to bump. He just wanted to raise. Is really what it was. So he listen. He's one of the best college coaches that's out there right now. You don't want to lose a guy like that, and he's recruiting and he's built this team over the last few years to listen. Upsetting game against TCU that just can't happen, but he's back, and I think it's gonna continue on this trend. We're gonna be one of those teams that's there. So happy he's back. Thought he was leaving. Glad he is not gone.
Yeah, I mean, since he's been there, they've just been getting better and better every year and putting Michigan back on the map really for you at that point. So, I mean, I know that you're probably biased on this one, but if you had to say, do you think that Harbaugh is better for the college game or for the NFL game? Like personally, do you think that?
Uh, coaching wise, he's proven he can do both. Obviously he was successful in the NFL and then came back. He just screams college football coach to me. The quirkiness, Bird's a nervous animal. How he drinks milk, the khaki routine. He's just a weird cat, and
Yeah.
you can get away. Clearly, people like him. He got away with a little bit in the NFL, but there's something about college coaches and just being like just authentic and unapologetic for just breathing football, and that's what he is, and I love that. So
Yeah.
I would say he's better for the college game, and he looks good in Michigan's his squad. It's a good story, that helps the recruiting process. It's I mean, I don't know if it does, but I would think it does. It's
You would
there's
think.
something to be said about people wanting to come back to their school.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think that there's something to it. I think he does all the weird, goofy trends and stuff that college coaches do to try
Yeah,
and get players enticed. He'll do the dance moves and all the goofy stuff. So he's perfect
yeah.
for it. I think so. I think you're right. I would love to see him back in the NFL, but I think he is perfect right now for the college game, and he's like a big name for them. So it's very helpful for the college game. I think so.
Yeah, he's not going to go to another college program. I'll put it that way. His when he decides to leave college, it won't be for another college school. It'll be for the NFL or nothing. That'll be it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting times in the college ranks, like you said. Things are getting better for all of college sports, and the athletes getting paid is going to make it even more interesting going forward. So, as I said, I'm a casual. I'm trying to get more into it, especially with sports gambling about to be actually legalized in Massachusetts. I'm going to be able to bet more on these games and things like that. So, I want to get more into it. March Madness is coming up. I got to ask you, as a college basketball guy, what do you recommend for a novice like myself trying to learn more, educate myself, follow these teams? Should I be looking at certain tournaments? Should I be following certain conferences? How should I be going about it?
So, from like a betting standpoint, excuse me, these Giants crushed my voice this week, and it's just gone. But it's slowly coming back.
That's all right.
From a gambling standpoint, I always look for teams that haven't been covering. I look for, perfect example was Arkansas, Missouri last night. Arkansas hasn't covered in their last 5 games. Missouri's been clicking on all cylinders. They're at home, but they don't play great at home always. The line is weird. Arkansas is getting +2. And I look for teams to try and snap out of those trends. I look for the team who's like for example, TCU in basketball is 28 or 22, 8-1 against the spread. Yesterday, they were a dog against West Virginia, who's 10-7, just playing terrible basketball. Hadn't covered in the last 7 games, and TCU's on a 7-game covering streak. So I hammered West Virginia because the line looked fishy. But I always look for those kinds of trends. Who's hot? Who's not? Duke, UConn. They were hot early on in the season. Seton Hall beats UConn yesterday on like a crazy second half. I look for stuff like that mainly. So you got to do a little bit of research for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, you've been hot recently. I know that you were 20-8 going into the other night. I know you had a couple of bad breaks there.
Finished up 0-3 last night because of that bullshit in Arkansas. But 20-11 on the season, which I'm thrilled about. That number will probably go down because we'll be betting a lot more. We'll be betting a lot more. But that's about it.
Yeah. No, hey, man, that happens. But when you're hot, and you got to follow the hot hand. So I think that people should be following along with you right now. I know that we're recording this on a Thursday. And it comes out on a Friday, so it's hard for you to predict things like that. But I did see a couple of games out there that are on Friday night that I wanted to ask you about. None of the ranked teams are playing, but I still notice one that's going to be on TV that I might be able to look into. Have you looked at Villanova this year or St. John's? I know those two teams are playing tomorrow night. Do you have any thoughts on either of those two teams, something that I could maybe get into, put a little money on?
Yeah. So another thing that people should look out for, this is probably the most important part. All of the stuff I said about gambling and this, that, and the other, free throws. These kids do not make free throws. So find teams who make them. Right. Villanova makes them better than anyone in the country. Love Villanova this year. St. John's isn't a team I get to bet. I can't bet them here in New York, but I think this is a team where I don't know. I just don't. I'm on Villanova. I just think it'll be too much for St. John's to handle. And towards the end of the game, when you need to start covering points, making free throws is huge because teams just don't. It's just they're college kids. The discrepancy between college and the NBA, it's substantial. So look for consistent free throw shooters. I like Villanova.
All right. I like that. That's some good inside stuff right there to think about. Because like I said, I'm just trying to get into it more. College basketball. I mean, the tournament's coming up. I always do it and just randomly go in there with no mindset, and I'm just throwing out random bets, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But I want to go in there with a little more, knowledge this time. So I'm trying my best, and we'll see how things go with that. But moving on from that topic, we have seen. I saw you recently. You're more of a Tony golf guy too. You throw that. I mean, I know that you're a golf guy. You do your own golfing, but did you just do fantasy golf recently? Did you jump into that?
Yeah. So I've been doing that for years. Yeah. This is my brother's an Elks member. I don't know if you know what that is, like an Elks Club member. And these guys all do it. So I'm terrible. I'm the worst of all time at it. Okay. Fantasy sports. I am like, it's a big joke I'm not cool with my friend group. I can't win. I can't win in those things. But I did draft Scotty Scheffler first round, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, no, nice. I tried it one time, couldn't get into it, was absolutely terrible at it. Love watching golf, but I no idea how to attack a fantasy lineup or golf. That's a tough.
Well, you just draft and you keep it. That's the one thing that's nice. You draft, you're not implementing new guys or anything, Matt. Like you have majors that pay you out. You have a 6-man. Your last pick is a payout. So that it's you hit it and sit it. That's not what they say, but you just set it and leave it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I like it. That's fun, though. That's a good way to kind of make it more interesting there. But you are also just a golfer yourself. And I got to ask, I mean, actually, really quickly, a Tony weather update. I know you're doing horrible with the weather over there. How's things going over there today, Vance? Oh, boy.
Yeah, my dog is like going nuts. It's icy out. I was going to go get a computer, so I hope this isn't terrible. But, yeah, it's just a nightmare out there. Tony Weather's dealing with some sleet and rain, and it's nasty, and I don't have enough salt, so I'm going to probably fall later. But, it's the weather's not great here right now.
All right, so then what I got to ask you is how in the offseason when you got Tony Ice over there, what do you do as a golfer to kind of keep in your offseason shape? Do you do anything at home to kind of, keep your shot working or whatever like that?
Stretch. It's the number one thing to do. Stretching is what I'll do for all winter. I'm pretty flexible for a big guy. But yeah, stretching is big. And we got this little indoor facility over here called the bunker. I'll go there and get some swings in, throw a cup down in the rub, throw some putts down. But yeah, that's stretching's the big one, especially the older I get.
Yeah, no, you got to stay limber. I just got into the virtual golf for the first time the other day. I've been doing that for the last month or so. It's been kind of fun to go to a place and just get some swings in. But yeah, no, that's good. You got to stay
pops.
Yeah, exactly. That's more fun than anything else. But all right, we got one last question to finish off this little conversation that we got right now. Biggest question of the day, really, if you ask me. But are you a shred your own cheese guy or a buy it pre-shredded kind of guy?
Great question. Yeah. So on the Big Guys podcast, we have Ryan's random thoughts, and Ryan, I think, is absolutely fall down funny. He's one of my good buddies. Yeah. And I texted him a while back. I said, 37-year-old Ryan, give some advice to 25-year-old Ryan, and this is what he came up with: buy block cheese, not shredded cheese. It tastes better. It melts different. It's 1,000 times better. It's cheaper. And once you do it, you'll never go back to shredded cheese. Sure, it might take a little time to, shred the cheese, something oddly satisfying about that as well. But you got to just do this and trust the gut. It's a game changer. And he's 100% right. He really is. It's just, it's a game changer. What about you? You shred or you block?
I mean, I'm a lazy guy, so I'm gonna buy it pre-shredded, but I can see the logic, and I heard that rant, and I thought it was hilarious, so I had to bring that on.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
But I think you guys are doing great on that podcast. Keep that stuff up. Funny segments. Shredded cheese over block cheese. I thought that was a hilarious one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I threw out a picture the other day of Nick Mangold, and Ryan looks like Nick Mangold a little bit. Back in the day, he had long hair. It's a long shot, but you can see the resemblance.
I can see it a little.
And long story short, Nick Mangold reached out, and I was like, "Hey, maybe you could come on the show." And he said, "Let's do it." So hopefully he follows through with it. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, the show's been good at the Big Guys. pod has been fun. So I'm going to keep at it, and I appreciate
Awesome.
your support. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And people can find it just podcast and YouTube. Do you do as well?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify at the Big Guys Pod. And then Ryan's handle on Twitter is at Han Yolo, and he's a funny dude. So he's a big NASCAR guy. So we're gonna be talking some NASCAR here pretty soon.
Awesome, man. Hey, well, it was great talking to you as always. I look forward to do it again in the future. Hopefully, you got some good luck with the Giants. So we'll see how that goes, and then I'll be able to talk to you again.
We got to play mean. We got to play mean. We got to get in there and play mean. So I appreciate you having me. It's always a blast talking to you. We'll have to have you on the Big Guys Pod here soon.
Would love to. All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you.